I am now going to show you some of the projects that I do with different grade levels. Here's a medallion that I do with my kinder classes. And the students get to make their own designs any kind of way that they want. And I use toys and I allow them to press the toys down in. So we make a ball, we roll that ball up, and then we just press that ball down and that becomes flat. And then when it comes out of the kiln and it's all glazed, I'll string them up and they're able to take them home. My first graders make trinket dishes. We make them out of a slab, and I love just using slabs that I already cut, so that way they're not rolling them and making them too flat. And they use cookie cutters, so they're very familiar with cookie cutters because they use them with Play-Doh all the time. And they get to use the shapes and cut them out, and then they get to design them any kind of way that they want. And we talk about textures and lines and things like that. And then when they're glazed, they come out like this. Second grade. Now, second grade, we talk about the 3D shapes, and we talk about spheres and cubes and cones. And so I have them create either a crayon holder or pencil holder out of a dice. So I want it to be a cube. And they talk about depth, how deep to go for the top and how deep to go for the sides. I also do spheres, and then we flatten the bottom and they become things like baseballs and basketballs. And so here they are glazed. Here's a basketball. And they can put the crayons in them. I only do about 3 holes. On the dice, I talk about doing 2 or maybe up to 4 holes. And they're deep on the top, but the sides are very shallow. We do not glaze the bottom because I want to be able to get them in and out of the kiln very quickly. And I don't want to have them stick or get stuck on the bottom, because having glaze on the bottom, they will stick, and then you'd have to pry them off, and sometimes they will break. Here's a baseball. It was all glazed in white first, but when it came out of the kiln, I let the students use a fine tip Sharpie to finish off on the design. And with these, I do make sure I put extra holes in the bottom so that they do not explode in the kiln. And I do that with a paper clip. Now, third grade, I let them cut out the shape of a leaf. We just kind of did a curve on one side, a curve on the other side. I talk about how it looks like the shape of an eye. And once they cut it out, we talk about textures and leaves and nature. And we make a leaf that turns into a bird feeder, or just something decorative that could go outside or even hang inside of a bedroom. In fourth grade, I have the students make paint palettes. So the paint palettes can be in the shape of a half circle, or they can be in the shape of a rectangle. And we talk about subtractive and how we can pull the clay out using a paper clip or some other tool that I might have available for them. And then we use 3D blocks like cylinders and cubes to make our circles or our indentions for where the paint will go when it's all said and done. I also allow them to use stamps if they wanted to, with letters and different designs to design on top of their clay. Here's one that's been finished, and we all do them in a clear glaze. And then when it comes out, I let them use Sharpies to finish off their design. For fifth graders, we move on to not just talking about subtractive, but additive. And we do a scratch and score and coils to create tic-tac-toe board, or we make a maze. And so I show them how to do that by adding the coils. Students really enjoy making something they can use. And as you notice, most of these are things that they can use, from a trinket dish to a crayon holder to a bird feeder to a paint palette, and then again here with the games. And so they will lay their clay on, but we do talk about how important it is to wiggle those coils in. And then when they're all done, they get to glaze them, and they can create it any kind of way that they want. So, and I do tell them they can use more than one color with glaze. Then I do have the marble maze. Again, they can use more than one color. This is a marble maze where they had to make an indentation, and I let them use a marble or maybe the top of a round clothespin to actually make the indentions. And so this one has to have the coil that goes all the way around and then something on the inside. I let them blend colors or glazes, so they might go from an orange to a yellow, or I talk about how certain colors, primary and secondary colors, that go well together because there's blue and green, and so they might do this kind of ombre effect on here as well. So they do have that choice to do that on here. The kids really do love the marble maze. So now that you've seen all of the clay projects that we make, the majority are out of a slab with the exception of the kindergartners and the second graders.